Good morning, everybody. How are you today? I am just stitching on my learning sampler, and I realized that I made a huge boo-boo. I'm going to share this with you, and hopefully you can learn from me and my mistake. I'm going to turn you around so you guys can take a peek. Okay, guys, so as you can see, I am working on my letters, and I'm working on the letter R, but as it was rolled up, I realized, I have that band plus 4 more other bands to do, and so it was rolled up, and I'm like, there's not enough room for 4 more bands. So I unrolled it, and I started to count it with pins. Now this is what I do now with my pieces, is I count with pins to make sure that the piece fits on the piece of fabric that I have. Like with my lioness, if you remember, you saw pins in it, right? So I made sure that, I knew it was going to fit and how big it was going to be and all that kind of stuff. When I started this piece, because this piece is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. This piece is 13 months old. So back when I started this piece, I wasn't doing that. And the piece up here is started 1.5 inches or 2.5 inches from the top, which is, reasonable, right? You want it to be that size of a border. So I wasn't unreasonably down here, like, oh crap. I probably could have started maybe 1 inch above, maybe, if I would have realized that's all I could have really done is gone up to here and started maybe 1 inch from where I did start it. But I didn't pin and count the entire thing to see where it would sit on the fabric, and I thought that I would have enough room to have 2-inch border down here, but I don't. Look it. It's barely gonna fit. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sew a piece of fabric down here so that when it does come time for framing, that they can just wrap it around the foam core or whatever it is that they put this on. It will be fine. I believe that it will be able to be framed as long as I sew a piece of fabric, and the foam core will be wrapped around here like this. There will be no fabric where the border is here, is where the fabric is here, or where the border is here is where it would end, and then maybe have some matting right next to where the border is. That won't be happening for a long time. This is a huge piece to get it professionally framed, which I believe this piece needs to be professionally framed because you want it to be stretched correctly, and you want the bands to be straight, right? You don't want it to be wobbly woo, kind of like it is here, because the fabric is just sitting, and so you want to, when they stretch it, you want it to be straight and even. So this piece will be professionally framed one day when I have extra money to do such a thing. But just a note for you guys that are doing stuff like this, any piece, I would take these little pins. They're just, just little pins like that, with a little, oops, let's drop it. Just little pins like that, and you just count. You count your entire piece out. It takes time. And of course, you can't use a marker. You can't use a marker on this because you can't wash it because it's silk. So typically I just use these pins now because I'm using either hand-dyed fabrics or hand-dyed silks, which cannot be washed, so I can't use a, one of those fabric pens. And the gridding thread that I have just gets in the way of this. So pinning and making sure that you know where it sits on your fabric before you put in your first stitch is really a good idea, and it is worth putting the time into before you start. We got an evening visitor, guys. It's about 8:30. We're just about to go brush our teeth, and I looked out and there she is.